history class did not tell the whole story. Not because the teachers wanted to hide anything, but because for decades, parts of the American story were locked away in classified files, court-sealed records, and government archives that the public was not allowed to see. Some teachers who tried to discuss these events faced disciplinary action or lost their jobs entirely. This list contains 10 real events that actually happened, that are now publicly documented, but that almost never appeared in any high school textbook. Some of them were classified for over half a century before the truth came out. Others are still being uncovered to this day. Stick around, because by the end of this video, the version of history most people grew up with will not look the same again. What did the United States hide from its own citizens at home? Number 10. The Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921. In May of 1921, a thriving black neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, known as Greenwood, also called Black Wall Street, was burned to the ground by a white mob. Within 16 hours, hundreds of homes, businesses, churches, and schools were destroyed. As many as 300 people were killed. Survivors were rounded up and held in detention camps for weeks. For decades, the event was scrubbed from local newspapers, removed from public records, and missing entirely from Oklahoma school curricula. Police reports were destroyed. Insurance claims were denied. Aerial photographs from that day showed planes dropping turpentine bombs onto homes from above, a detail that did not appear in any official record until the 21st century. Only in the 21st century did mass graves begin to be officially excavated and confirmed by researchers and forensic teams. Number 9. The Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment. From 1932 to 1972, the United States Public Health Service ran a study on hundreds of black men in Alabama who had syphilis. The men were never told they had the disease. They were never given the cure once it became widely available in the late 1940s. They were told they were being treated for bad blood. The study lasted 40 years. Many of the men died slow, painful deaths. Many infected their wives. Children were born with the disease. The experiment was only stopped after a journalist named Gene Heller leaked the story to the press in 1972, causing national outrage. Number 8. The Human Plutonium Experiments. Between 1944 and 1947, United States government scientists secretly injected at least 18 hospital patients with plutonium without their knowledge or consent, to study what radiation did to the human body. Many of the victims were poor, elderly, or seriously ill. One was a teenage boy who had been hit by a truck. He survived the injection but was followed by researchers for years without ever being told what he had been injected with. The records were classified for half a century. The full truth only came out in the mid-1990s, when a presidential committee finally released the documentation to the public and the surviving families learned what had been done to their loved ones. But the medical experiments were not the only secrets. What else was the government doing behind closed doors? Number 7. MKUltra. From 1953 to 1973, the Central Intelligence Agency ran a secret program designed to control the human mind. The program tested LSD, hypnosis, electroshock therapy, and other techniques on unwitting subjects, including soldiers, prisoners, sex workers, and hospital patients. CIA Director Richard Helms ordered most of the files destroyed in 1973 before Congress could review them, but a few boxes survived in a misfiled storage room. Those surviving documents revealed thousands of experiments performed in secret, some of them resulting in mental breakdowns and death. Number 6. COINTELPRO. From 1956 to 1971, the FBI ran a domestic surveillance and disruption program called COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program. Its targets included civil rights leaders, anti-war activists, journalists, students, and entire political organizations. Agents wrote fake letters, planted false stories in the press, and pressured employers to fire suspected dissidents. Some operations attempted to push targets toward suicide, including a now infamous letter sent to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The program was only exposed when activists broke into an FBI field office in Pennsylvania in 1971 and leaked the files to the public. Number 5. Operation Northwoods. In 1962, top officials in the United States military proposed a plan called Operation Northwoods. The plan called for staging fake terrorist attacks on American soil, blaming them on Cuba, and using the resulting outrage to justify a full invasion of the island. Suggested targets included American ships, planes, and even civilians in major cities. President John F. Kennedy rejected the plan, but the documents were classified for nearly 40 years. They were only declassified in 1997, when the public finally learned how close their own government had come to attacking its own citizens. These were the secrets at home. But the United States was also hiding strange alliances overseas. What deals did America make with its former enemies? Number 4. Operation Paperclip. After World War II, the United States secretly recruited more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, many of whom had worked directly for the Nazi regime. They were given new identities, jobs, and homes inside the country, often with their full pasts erased from official records. The most famous of them, Wernher von Braun, had helped design the V-2 rocket that killed thousands of civilians during the war. He later led the team at NASA that put the first American on the moon. The full story of Paperclip was hidden for decades, and many of its files only became public in the late 1980s. Number 3. Unit 731. During World War II, the Japanese military ran a secret biological warfare unit called Unit 731. The unit performed horrific experiments on Chinese, Korean, and Soviet prisoners, including live vivisections, frostbite tests, and disease infections. Entire villages were used as test sites. After the war, instead of being prosecuted, the leaders of Unit 731 made a deal with United States authorities. They handed over their research, and in exchange, the United States granted them immunity from war crime trials. The deal was kept secret for more than 50 years, and many of the scientists involved went on to lead respected medical and pharmaceutical careers in post-war Japan. But not all of this is ancient history. Some of it happened within living memory. What has the modern government been forced to admit? Number 2. Project SHAD. Between 1962 and 1973, the United States military conducted Project SHAD, short for Shipboard Hazard and Defense. The Navy tested biological and chemical agents on its own sailors aboard ships, often without their knowledge or consent. Many of those sailors developed serious health problems later in life, including cancers, lung disease, and neurological disorders. The full extent of the program was not officially acknowledged by the Pentagon until 2002, when veterans began filing lawsuits for compensation. Some of those veterans died before they ever received an apology. Number 1. The Iran-Contra affair. In the mid-1980s, members of the Reagan administration sold weapons to Iran, which was under a strict United States embargo at the time, and used the profits to secretly fund right-wing rebel groups in Nicaragua, which Congress had specifically banned from receiving such support. The scheme involved members of the National Security Council, the CIA, and several private contractors. When the story broke in 1986, it triggered one of the largest political scandals in modern American history. Some of the people involved were convicted. Others were pardoned. The full classified record is still being reviewed and released piece by piece today. These 10 stories share something simple. Every one of them was at one point hidden, classified, denied, or removed from the public record. Each was eventually proven true by official documents, court rulings, or government investigations. What is now visible to anyone with a library card was once a crime to even talk about. Books that referenced any of these events were sometimes banned from schools. Reporters who tried to break the stories were threatened, surveilled, or fired. Some witnesses died before they ever got the chance to testify in front of Congress. Their stories survived only because friends, family members, and a handful of journalists refused to let the records disappear, often at great personal risk to themselves. And the question that should haunt every person watching this video is also the simplest one. If this much was hidden for this long, what is being hidden right now? If this video opened up a part of history nobody taught you, hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden chapters of the past. Share this video with someone who needs to see it, and drop a comment below with the next forgotten event to cover.